creating curiosity by asking better questions. This is Shed Talk. Welcome back to the second part of our interview with Jari Love. Get ripped. This is amazing. Jari Love, thanks again for coming back on to Shed Talk. And it's actually not coming back on because we're in the second set here. I wanted to actually get and talk more about the actual business model of get ripped, because back when this started and video, DVD, and where you came from was absolutely amazing. I had never seen that before. And then you started out. So do you want to deep dive into that whole thing?
I do really want to say that I am where I am because I've had a great team behind me, like our instructors. And certainly I'll always be grateful for the members, because members would let us know, I don't know if I like that interval, or, I really learned to listen. People have to I feel anyways, put the ego aside and be open, right? And so the classes were just going ballistic. And this lady came up to me and she said, Jari, can you put this workout, on a VHS? Because I can't get into these classes. I want to book my child in the daycare, but I'm driving here, and you got to line up and just to reserve a spot, and it's not working.
She just came up with this idea to tell you this.
Yeah, she asked me this, and me being a people pleaser said, well, sure I can. I can do that for you. You can take the VHS on your cabin. And she said, and I'll have girlfriends that will probably do it too, right? So something that was going to be $1,500 was $35,000. It was $35,000 for my first video.
And that's, what year was this?
2002, 2003.
So equivalent to today's inflation is about $1.5 million? Yeah, no.
Yeah, right, yeah. Right. Well, it's a lot cheaper now, right?
That's true too.
Right?
You're right, yes.
Right, a lot cheaper. And I didn't know what I was doing. Sometimes we focus too much on the goal where we don't focus on the process. Because I'll tell you, if I would have known then what I've known now, I don't know if I would have created videos. I didn't know that you needed to trademark the name. Oh, you need a DVD, VHS cover, and then you need a replicator, and you need a lawyer, and you need an ISP. It went on and on. And so I went to my husband, who graciously said, you better pay me back. And I can remember learning from one of the marketing guys, and they said, there's 4 P's in business. If you miss one of those P's, you will fail or bottleneck. And those P's are price, product, placement, and promotion. So I'm in debt, $35,000. I needed to hire a publicist. So I searched around and I hired, 2 publicists, well-dressed, very well-known, and paid them a retainer. And the goal was to try and get me in the media because I needed to get...
Is this in Calgary?
Yes, this is in Calgary. Okay. And so it wasn't working. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? And so I had a meeting with the publicist, and Ray was there, my husband, and they said, I'm sorry, Jari, we cannot get you on TV. We tried Vancouver, we tried Toronto. Yes, you got into the Calgary Herald, but that's it. Nobody is interested. They're only interested in Pilates and yoga. And something intuitively said to me, no. I said to them, I am going to make it in the States. And they both looked at me and they said, well, how are you going to do that? I said, I don't know, but you'll hear of me. And I gave them their check, and they walked out the door. My husband's like, what are you going to do? And I just felt confident. I wasn't going to worry about it, And a lot of my ideas, I remember, would be from running. That's what I love about running. My creativity would come in. And so I had an aha moment. And what I did was I hired students. I hired someone that was studying marketing and studying to be a lawyer. And it was like $17 an hour. I said, guys, It's going to be the three of us. We're going to do some cold calling. I want you to reach out to every publicist in the States. And we were getting a lot of no's, and until I said, I want you to reach out to Tammy Lee's publicist, Buns of Steel. And they reached out to her, and Leslie McClure said, well, of course we'll take you. You have a very good image, and I really like your videos. And what do you think about getting into stores? I just about fell over. And once she said, give me these videos, they blew up. She said, how would you like to be on the advisory board for Fitness Magazine? I said, hell yes, anything. Like, I was working my butt off. I was West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. It was like crazy. And when I blew up in the States, then Canada wanted me. And I hate to say that, but that's how that happened. And we were in Walmart, Costco, you name it, everywhere. And I had a marketing guy that the distributor at the time had recommended. He was taking care of my website, and he could see, the success of Get Ripped.
So every time, so you got into, she takes you aside, she gets you. Now she's going to produce everything, and then she takes that across the United States.
Well, no, she took what I created. Everything was already done. She just took the videos and cold call. And she said, can you come to LA? We're going to meet at the Ivy, and I want you to meet the editor of, I believe it was Shape Magazine. And the lady, there's a lot of celebrities around. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm from Calgary, Alberta. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
And you're hiding behind that pillar.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right? I'm really like,
Yeah.
And she said, what makes you so special? Like, they're just so direct. And I said, well, I don't think I'm special, but I feel like the program I've created is special, We've invested money in testing people in a lab and and she's like, really? Well, we're going to have some people try it out, and they're going to give us, feedback, and once we hear from them, then we'll consider, launching you into Shape Magazine. And by God's grace, not only was I in Shape Magazine, I was in Oxygen Magazine, and then it blew up, and I just couldn't believe it. Like, the success was unbelievable. And then I get the call, and it actually was from our members, and the videos became a top 10, I believe, in, I want to say the LA paper. I'm just going to say that. And one of the members said, Jari, did you hear that Gayle King wants to have you on her radio show, the Oprah radio show? And I had to pull over. Like, that was always my dream, right? She loves your workouts. And I get a call from the publicist, and they want to meet. And I go to New York, and I meet Gayle, and she was just amazing. Like, I'm pinching myself going, oh my gosh, like I'm in New York talking to Gayle King, like Oprah's best friend, and telling me how much she loves the workouts. And then after the interview, she said, Jari, you did a really good job. And I can remember phoning one of the instructors, sobbing after my interview, because I was so nervous that I was going to fail. That's how that all started.
So you have the interview with her. You see her. She tells you do a great job. You're at the highest moment. So you've hit your highest moment. Oh my gosh, it was the greatest thing. And then at the same breath, you hit your lowest moment of like, oh no.
Yeah. So I almost had an infomercial deal. Came close, and I was telling my web developer, and he, of course, has access to my numbers. And I can't even believe that I didn't catch on. But, time went on, and I'm, making some changes, and I get this call, and it's a lady really upset with me. She's like, Jari, you charged me a yearly fee for your on-demand. And I said, on-demand? What are you talking? I don't have on-demand. She said, yeah, I want my money back. And I said, can you send me the links? Like, I need to see what you're talking about. Well, lo and behold, I get choked up. I to this day, I still can't believe it. My web developer created a whole new series pretending to be me, created a Jari Love Get Ripped on Demand, and was charging my customers to use my on-demand program where, I was even paying him at the time to still monitor my website, up to like really good money. So, I'm paying him and he's screwing me, pretending to be me and collecting money into his bank account. It broke me, Kevin. It absolutely, I just,
Emotionally broke you, or like as emotionally broke you, but as in financially broke you?
no, emotionally. I'm not, I'm frugal. I people will go, hey, do you want to go to Las Vegas and go shopping? I'm not that girl.
No.
No, I'd rather go, work out in a gym or
Yeah.
go to the park. But emotionally is harder because I felt betrayed,
It's like somebody just broke into your house
and stole my identity.
Yeah.
And on top of that, stole my money and lied to my customers. So you can only, I'm clenching my knuckles every time I think about it. And I have lawyers in the States, and it would have costed a lot of money, but I did have my last say with this web developer, and, had to hire another guy and to fix the mess and get all the URLs and protect me. And, of course the guy denied it, right? But I was so broken. It really shook my...
Shook you to the core.
Shook me to the core. Kicked to the curb. Yeah. Yep.
And you look at entrepreneurs that we talk about success and our failures but when you hit that high moment, you've made it, you've gone through it, you got your get ripped, you've done everything that you said you possibly can, you're there now, you want to keep on the wave at the top and you're there. Then all of a sudden the blow happens, and then it's like
Yeah.
start from scratch as an entrepreneur, and then digging down deep to go, okay, let's start it again. And then,
There's a saying, and I remember, reading the quotes, Sir Winston Churchill, success is not final. Failure's never fatal. It's having the courage to move forward that matters the most. And that really pierced into my heart because I thought, I can either sink or I can swim. The thing that I felt that he didn't have was my creativity and who I was. I'm the master of creativity. Screw you. It's just money. Because at the end of the day, this is what I believe. God doesn't say, how much money did you make? It's how you made a difference in one's life. I can rest at night knowing that I never ripped anybody off. But can he?
no. And the thing is, and it gets down to it, it's kind of like fitness, right? Fitness as a whole. You don't own fitness.
No.
Fitness owns you, meaning, and you have to rent it every single day that you work out, because it doesn't matter if you don't work out or do work out, but your body can tell you if you're not working out, you owe the fiddler every single day to work out. You're renting your health every day.
Right.
And then and you're teaching every single person about fitness every day to get motivated, to be determined, to be consistent and be resilient, and getting knocked into that proverbial bang, and then COVID hits. So now here you go. Double whammy.
Round 3. So it's funny how things happen. My husband and I, we owned the property at the South Club, and I'm so grateful for our meeting. I feel God intervened because we had the property up for sale. Ray was ready to retire. He had a long, wonderful life, owning Fitness Plus. And, we actually worked together in the long run with our son. And our goal was to will the building to our son because he was in the business. But freaking COVID hit. What happened was, oh my gosh, we're open, we're closed, we're open, we're closed. And so the members, why would they pay for a membership, right? They had no facility to go to. But we had the bills, $20,000 per month. You're covering electricity, the taxes, and the lawn needs to be done. And we had, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is how important it is to hang around, and you do this. Surround yourself with can-do people and get rid of can't-do people. You found these amazing realtors. I get choked up when I think about it. Because that building was 26,000 square feet.
I remember that, yes.
Right? And we had all the gym equipment. You know, Ray had been in business since 1983, and the other realtors couldn't sell it, but you bring in these amazing guys.
Mm-hmm.
We can sell it. I was like, I just felt like, oh, you know, the stress lifted off, right? And, but the logical person was saying, well, who's going to look at a gym during COVID? And it was winter and it was snowing and it was so gloom and doom. And Ray and I were in the facility, like looking at each other, and it was crazy. We had 40 showings, 40 showings, like bang, you know, cleaning the club and making sure everything's fine. And then we had something like 12 offers, but none of the offers went through. And, you know, like I took my real estate license. I know that, you know, buying a house and selling a house is very emotional, but this was our livelihood, right? And so, you're paying those bills and you're hoping to God that club sells. And no. And now it's close to a year. And Kevin, I looked at Ray and he's like getting depressed as I'm getting depressed. And I laid on the floor and I'm sobbing. Ray doesn't see me. I'm in the aerobic studio sobbing. It's kind of funny now when I think about it, because that's where I got my start. And it's almost like an end in a way. But I'm laying there sobbing and I'm going, this is stupid. Crying's not going to do any good except give me one of those crying headaches, which I don't want. And this is the truth. I wrote God a letter. I wrote him a letter. Just please help Ray and myself get rid of this building, because it's a lot of money. You know, we've saved, we worked so hard. You feel like a loser, you know, because now our son isn't going to get the building, but I folded that letter and I put it on the roof of Fitness Plus because I felt it was closer to God, you know. And it's funny because I feel like we reach out to God when we're in trouble, right? When the world's in crisis or the weather's bad or whatever. But I said, please, God, please answer my prayers. Sorry, I get so emotional when I think about this. And you know what happened within a month or two? We got a cash offer and a good offer. And who ended up buying the building was the church. A church bought the building. And what was interesting is they allowed me to continue to create on-demand workouts. So these were going to be new workouts that my old web guy did not have access to, you know. And it was amazing because I'd be having my music, you know, doing these on-demand videos, and there's the priest walking by, and then a church congregation's going into the main gym because they're going to have a service, and the squash player, they've rented out the squash area.
And you don't have your high heels on,
I
right?
don't have my high heels on.
Okay, good.
Nope, I don't have my high heels on, but I was able to create another couple hundred workouts in that time. That's how one door closes, another one opens. So COVID, thank you, because it created an opportunity for me that was right in front of my face.
And you got to meet people that you would never normally meet that are brought out to actually say, as great, no asks, everything going, and exactly how we met.
Yes.
And then to grow and then say, what does it look like? And create curiosity amongst humanity, amongst each other, to ask ourselves a better question, say, what do we not, why is this happening and why can't we change it? And did we ask ourselves a better question? And did we ask for the right question?
Right. And remember when, like, we had all the equipment in the gym and we had, oh gosh, how are we going to get rid of it? And you said, sell it. And Ray's like, oh no, we've just got to auction it off. He goes, no, sell it. And you said, Jerry, take a picture of the spin bike. And I did.
Right.
And within, do you remember this?
We did it in 10 minutes. I said, listen, I'll have all this sold.
Yeah.
Just take a picture. I'll show you how to sell this in 10 minutes without an auction.
Yes. And we sold all the equipment, taking your advice. That's why you have to be open, you know. And I'm so, of course, when you asked me to do this interview, hell yes, because I'm so grateful for what you did. No judgments, you know, only advice. You'd never wanted anything. I wasn't used to that, because usually people, I'm going to charge you for this, not you. So
Yeah,
So
and it's
that's
all, and that's the beauty of it is it's the no, and a lot of people think humanity is about giving back. Do they really know what giving back means? It's about having a no ask and truly to be present in someone's times of needs or not, because we don't know, and is to ask ourselves a better question. And all of a sudden, being here together to have this conversation with a no ask and going, how do we be great in humanity? And then at any given point in our lives, and then we grow together because we only attract great people. Do we have things that happen to us? Well, we all do all the time.
totally.
Yeah, and how do we get through it? We live in a country that's absolutely beautiful. We live in Calgary that's absolutely beautiful, and here we are. We just get to write, and I always go back to this. I always call it a narrative, and narrative being a buzzword.
Yes.
Is we get to write our own stories about being greatness, and then your story about where you came
Totally.
as a singer, okay? And then not like in hiding behind the pole, proverbial pole, and then that there's no way, and then finding your truth of who you are, and then going through and then creating that one moment on stage, and then doing doing the video, well, the first dance, or I'll call it flash dance.
Yes.
And then going through each part of what you've done and gone through. And you went through a big turmoil. I remember going to that gym and it was beautiful. Like it was beautiful. It was like, wow. And then COVID, it was there.
You know,
Yeah.
we had a family at Fitness Plus, and, you know, and I would see the members, and I'd be crying, and Ray would be like, "Woohoo! I'm done. I'm so
Yeah.
retired," and I just wasn't ready to retire. But you know, here I
You're
am.
still not going to retire.
No, but I've been told I had a shelf life. You know, when I hired another guy locally.
What's a shelf life?
Well, Jerry, you only have 2 years left.
To live or to actually
To
produce?
be, who wants to see you, you know, doing jumping jacks at, you know, when you're, at the time I probably was 54. I spent a lot of money on my website, and I walked away thinking, screw you, keep the money. You don't have me. I'll show you. And honestly, Kevin, I have my video on demand. I got into a supplement wellness business, and I've had my best 2 years ever.
And you look at people right now, okay? Baby boomers, okay? Personal branding, I'll use myself, I'm 55 years old. People said the same, oh, you're doing a podcast, you have a shelf life of this. Are you kidding? I know guys that are 50 years old, and women,
Yes.
that all of a sudden are just getting into shape now because they never did it. And then this is where you're at
Yes.
is one of the most important times in life for people, because people need to look at, look at your age, 50, 59, and you're doing this. How many people want to be you?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you should say that, because back in the day, you know, I used to be like, oh, they're copying my ideas, da, 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 da. And then I was like, go at it. Because it takes a lot of drive, tenacity, and the sacrifices, you know, missing anniversaries, missing birthdays, and, you know, maybe not being there all the time for your children, right? You know, if you're willing to do that, then go for it. But one of the things that I've always said to my kids is never let your work define who you are, because at the end of the day, you know, Ripped will be over, but I'll be okay with it, because that is not my identity. And I think as fitness people, because I've seen it in the States, well-known fitness people, they can't let that go. And they've lost who they are because the job defined them, if that makes any sense.
It totally makes sense, because we look at, so the analogy for that is, I'll use myself
Yes.
from my experiences.
For sure.
So I own a railing company, Spindle Stairs and Railings. So I own this company, I own all these companies. But if I were to retire, am I known as Kevin Halliday, the Spindle Stairs and Railings guy? Or am I known as just Kevin Halliday, an entrepreneur that gives back to humanity, does what he says he's going to do, creates the wow factor in anything that's possible? A lot of people don't even know that I actually own a Spindle Stairs and Railings company,
Right.
due to the fact is it doesn't define me. What defines me is the approach of every day doing great things, of whatever greatness is to me.
Right.
And then I get to write my own story of greatness and not define. So I don't have to retire and going golfing. I can still invest and be this and be something and study. Now, as you mentioned, there's a double-edged sword to this. It's lonely at the top because we had to sacrifice.
Totally.
We had to give that up, but this is who we are today.
And in fairness, whatever I've done, Ray just shakes his head because it never was for the money. You see, the love of money gets people into trouble. The love of money. And I've never lived my life with regrets and believe in paying it forward, right? That's what life is about.
And you look at yourself now, 59 years old, you are making a statement.
Yes.
And going on to the next part of your life.
Things get better with age. Age is all about attitude.
That is absolutely amazing.
Right?
It is. You know what, Jari? Thank you very much for being on Shed Talk. And that talk was absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Now you know. Shed Talk.